Today I want to talk about using your watch faces in an efficient kind of way. The temptation when you first get your Apple Watch is to go into the face gallery and completely go crazy with all the different kinds of faces that there are. And there's lots of fun. You can have photographs, you can have animations, you can have Mickey Mouse if you want. There's plenty of fun faces that get there. Some have animations, some are more useful than others, some are easy to read, some show your activity, moon phases, all sorts of interesting things. But what you will find after a while is there's only a limited use to that. You'll quickly find that you kind of bore with the multiple options, and what you really want is to narrow down on the ones that actually help you get organized and have useful functions. So this is how I've set my watch up, and you might want to create your own little variation, but this is a fairly useful collection. So you need to pick a main face. This is the face that you'll spend most of the time on. I've chosen one that shows my activities, so I can actually go in and get a little quick preview of my activities just by pressing the watch face. It has battery up in the corner, it has my calendar over here, and my reminders down there. So I find that one pretty useful, and I like the analog face. Now I have set up a few other faces that I can go to quite quickly in my watch gallery for this particular watch. If you have more than one Apple Watch, you can set them up with different default faces. So this one has this rather plain face to start with. The first swipe over, I get a modular face with quite a bit of information I can see quickly. So I can see the date and time in a digital form. I can still see my battery, my activities, and reminders. And this one's very useful because it's got the timer in it. So I use this if I'm, in the kitchen or doing something where I need to time it. I can quickly flick to this, and because the timer acts as a shortcut, I can go to the timer, pick the amount I want to time, and it starts timing. And the nice thing about this face is I don't have to go back to the timer to see what's going on. In the face itself, the timer will just show up. So I can leave it there while I'm doing this, and it'll beep when it's finished. The next face over I got is a very minimalist one, and this is to conserve power. So if the battery is getting low, just like any screen, the more pixels it has to light up, the more power it uses. So this one's designed to save power, fairly minimal pixels, and the color isn't very bright. I also have this one, which also is fairly saves power, but this one's also got very large letters. So this one's handy at nighttime, for example, when I want to see the time easily, or perhaps if I don't have my glasses around, or any other reason where I want the time quite clearly. And this is just another version of one of the faces. This one has the numerals on it and the date, which is a little bit handy sometimes. So the next really useful face is this plain one, which is referred to as color in the face gallery. So you can have a bit of fun with this one because you can change the color to match your strap or some other fashion accessories. It's a very simple dial. And it does have the option of 4 complications, which can be handy if you want to have some more things on there, and you can have a little bit of fun of changing the monogram on it. So I find this one quite useful, and often I consider it as an alternative for my main face. The next one over is what they call a chronograph one, which is similar in that you can have 4 or 3 little complications. This one isn't a complication. This one is actually the stopwatch function. So as you stop that, you can stop and start your stopwatch, and you can see the face converts into a little stopwatch. And you can reset with this button. The last face I have on here is Mickey Mouse. Now, I don't use this face for any particular purpose, except that it reminds me that I've now gotten to the end of my list of faces. You can see it doesn't rotate around, it doesn't go back to the start. You have to go backwards if you want to get back to your other faces. But Mickey does have one little fun feature.
It's 12:21.
And that's, if you touch him, he'll tell you what time it is.
It's 12:21.
So that can be useful sometimes. So I hope this little demonstration has been useful. And I certainly find my watches much more useful now that I can set them up like this. So you will see here that your various watches will show up in your list of watches. I've got mine set to automatically swap between them as I put them on my wrist with this auto switch. So once I'm in any particular watch, you can see that one has its own little gallery of faces. So this shows you those faces that we've just scrolled through before. And if you hit this edit button, you can rearrange the order of those faces by dragging them around, or you can remove them by using the remove button. So I hope this is all useful for you and gives you more use out of your watch. Thanks for your time.